You talk about imposter syndrome in your book. And as I tell you, in the very, I'm a reader. So if the first chapter of any book doesn't grab me, most of the time I'm not going to read the rest of the book. And your first chapter gripped me because you talked about being in the classroom, being a 30-year-old, and hearing young people being in the same space talking about a life that you are not part of.
Mm.
That is when you started to feel like less, because this was the popular group, and you, for quote unquote, in your mind, you were the old lady. So you talk about how imposter syndrome is rooted in systematic bias and not just internal mindset, because people like to tell you that imposter syndrome is in your mind. So break it down first and tell us how we, women, not just Black women, could start separating the truth from the hype.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you for this question. I think, we did start talking about imposter systems, right? We have the pay inequity. We have, getting passed up for promotions. All of these things that might come from, internal biases from folks or the larger system not supporting us. And I do want to touch on the story that you mentioned. It's that I was at lunch with my colleagues, and they were talking about building computers in high school, and I had just started learning to code when I was almost 30, as I said, and I had a moment where I thought, "Gosh, I want to disappear. I don't want people to know that I'm so new to this." And then it was later that day when I was running a meeting, because no one else on the team could write an agenda and stick to it, right? That I remembered, oh, while they were doing this one thing, I was learning so many other things, right? I can run a classroom. I can't even tell you, teachers, I think, can do any job. And I know you know that.
My father and grandfather were teachers, were educators. I come from a family of teachers and lawyers, so I get that.
Yeah.
I
And I
get
think,
that.
and when we talk about how do we start to separate then their truth from the lie that you aren't enough, the best strategy I have found is whenever we find ourselves telling ourselves no, before we even try something, oh, I'm not good at that, or oh, I'm not ready, is to start with a question. Who told you that?
Yeah.
That's it. Who told you
Yep.
that? Because the
Yep.
answer might be nobody. And this is just a story I'm making up. Or maybe there is someone who told you that. And is that person's view valid? Does that person know what you can and cannot do? And so it's just a way to really interrupt that initial thought anytime you're telling yourself no before you've given anyone else the opportunity to. I just start with, well, who told you that?
And you are quite correct, because I always refer to imposter syndrome as a narrative, because it is a loop that has been fed into our minds, and it's a loop that we have accepted as truth, and we have not unmounted it. So the mere fact that you are asking the question of who told you that, this is the beginning of dismantling the narrative.